Hello people, it's your man Brett from the Skateboarding Show, here with a think piece, and today's subject is failure. Because I think failure is a big part of skateboarding. And I think there's two sort of elements to do with failure being a part of skateboarding. One is that it's a good thing that it's part of skateboarding because it helps you to learn and to develop. Because if you never fail doing skateboarding, then one could question, what are you doing with your skateboarding then? Why are you doing everything and succeeding? Why are you not pushing outside of your boundaries of what you can do? Because to me, and I could be wrong, and it's not a fact, it's just an opinion, to me that's part of what skateboarding is, that it's to do with pushing your boundaries of what you can do. That's how you get better. You push outside of what you can do. And if every time you push outside of what you can do, you do nothing but succeed, then you possibly haven't pushed outside those boundaries far enough. So failure helps you to learn. And at the same time, and failure should help you to learn because you should be analysing it and going, right, why did I fail there? What happened there? You should or shouldn't be doing anything. I know. There is possibilities for you to analyse your failures and to learn from them and to figure out the whys and wherefores and what might you learn from all that. But at the same time, we as skateboarders, my experience is that I have to be really careful with my self-talk around failure, because it's really easy for me to pick on the failure and go, well, that was rubbish. That proves how rubbish you are. And just to see nothing but the failure, because in one sesh there might be one or two tricks that I've kind of got an idea about, or an existing trick, but that I want to take to something different or higher or faster, and I might fail in doing it. I might fail at even trying to do it. Now, okay, so there's a couple of things to bring up here. Okay, including the idea that failure is important to skateboarders. Okay, so because it's absolute. Skateboarding is kind of absolute. It's one or the other. There isn't shades of landing a trick. You land a trick or you don't. Yes, you can land it in a sketchy way, but even landing a trick in a sketchy way is kind of a land, as long as it's not that sketchy that you had that much toe drag and that you stepped off too soon to warrant it being a proper land. We know what landing a trick is. Okay, for all accessibility, we know what landing a trick is. But it's easy to focus. It's easy for me to focus on failure in like a session where like I might have done a load of really good stuff, and then I fail on one particular thing. And that's what I focus on. And that creates a lot of self-negative talk. So it's important to acknowledge this is the thing about, this is where the self-honesty comes in. So failure is useful if you can be really honest with yourself and honest about whether or not you tried, and whether it's a failure because you failed to try or because you tried but failed, because there's a difference there with those two things. Failure to try and coming up with some sort of excuse is just rubbish. It's just total rubbish. Wholeheartedly trying and putting actual effort into it and failing, that's something completely different. Where I have to be careful, and where maybe other people have to be careful, I don't know. Maybe if your experience of skateboarding is even slightly remotely like mine, you might relate to the idea that I really easily focus on the one thing or the one or two things that I didn't land during a session rather than all the other stuff I did. Even if I do some other stuff that is either progressive or keeps me at the state where I'm at. So even if I do something I should be really happy about and really pleased about, I might very easily focus in on that failure. And that's okay to do that if I take something from that and go, right, next time I've got to try it differently. I've got to do this or do that, or maybe I shouldn't try that trick right towards the end of the session when my legs are tired. Maybe I should be trying that a little bit earlier on. Maybe I should warm up and then get straight into that. Because if I don't learn from it and develop from it, then it's just a failure in and of itself on its own. If I can learn from it and develop and take something from it, then I can take something from that failure and hopefully progress and move forward, in which case it's not a failure. It's a learning opportunity. It's absolutely a learning opportunity. But failure exists for skateboarders because we can't really, or I don't think we can. I think skateboarding exists in a world of absolutes. You land or you don't land. And therefore failure is something that exists. I think, yeah, okay. I'm going to say something and it could be seen as gatekeepery, but I think if you're watching this, you probably are quite into skateboarding. You know full well that there is landing or not landing. There is trying something, but trying something from an objective point of view doesn't really get you much. Like, it's not going to get you points in a competition. It's not going to get you points in terms of like metaphorical points or kudos. I could try a 360 flip down a set of stairs all day long. But also we know whether people are like close to doing that or they're just chucking it out and you're just thinking, wow, that person looks like they're nowhere near that. Why are they even trying that? Like, they'd be way better off reining that in and actually landing something and progressing and developing it that way and building it up. Because there's failure that's real, and there's failure that you've kind of controlled and contorted and created by trying something so far out of your ability level. Yeah, I mean, I have seen that, but granted, it's not that common. But what is required is the self-honesty to know what I've just tried and failed. Did I fail because I didn't try hard enough, or because I didn't put in enough effort? Or did I fail because there's some technical thing, there's some ability thing that I need to change or adapt, or there's something, or am I lacking some courage that's going to help me do that? For example, when I try to take an existing trick that I know I can do, but to a bigger ramp, like then the question isn't whether I can turn my body and get onto it properly, or do this or do that. The question is, do I feel comfortable doing that 2 or 3 foot higher than where I normally feel comfortable doing it? Failure plays a part in skateboarding. Failure plays a massive part in skateboarding. And it can either play a part, it can either aid us and give me something to, it can either aid me and give me something to learn from, or it can hinder me because it gives me something to focus on, but I don't do anything about it. I just feel rubbish about the fact that I failed, and I focus purely on that. And therefore that doesn't help me develop or grow in any way. It doesn't help me to become a better skateboarder. It just gives me a lot of negative self-talk, which exists, and I can't get rid of that, or I can't get rid of it quickly and easily because it's been built up over years. So it's going to take some training to get rid of that, but that's okay. But that's not to say that I should deny the failure and that I should just ignore it and go, well, at least I gave it a go, and be sort of in denial of it, because self-honesty comes back in again. Honesty comes back in again. Did I fail that because I didn't try? Did I fail that because I need to change something about what I'm doing? Did I fail that because I didn't show enough courage to do it? Or did I just fail it because it was just one of those things where, like, actually most things were in place and most things were all right, but a little slight thing went wrong and we can change that next time, it's fine. You know, there's also those bits of failure where you're just like, I had that and that was a very simple thing that I need to change, and you know exactly what it is, and next time you change it and it completely works and it's perfect. You know, there's degrees of failure. Am I completely far away from that trick and it's completely not worth my time trying it? Or is it actually something within my grasp if I just make some adaptations and try a little bit harder, or make some adaptations? My effort is perfectly fine. I just need to make some changes to my execution of the trick. See, it's analyzing. It's about analyzing. Skateboarding requires analyzing. Skateboarding is fun. Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. After you've spent years analysing it and learning how to do it and changing what you're doing. If skateboarding is purely fun, you're not doing skateboarding because you're not challenging yourself. You're not trying to develop. You're not trying to grow. If there's no point during a session at which you go, oh, God, man, this is, okay, right, okay, I'm going to do it, let's go. Then you haven't pushed yourself during that session, which you don't have to. You can go out and skateboard and not push yourself at all at any point. That is entirely up to you. But I kind of thought that was a part of the point of doing skateboarding, is that we're trying to challenge ourselves and develop and grow and progress and do something more and do something better. Even if that definition of doing something more or better is keeping tricks that you've got. Because there comes a point, as I've discussed, where you just keeping your tricks is enough. So, failure we can learn from, but failure that for me, and maybe you're the same, I shouldn't overdwell on, because failure exists because skateboarding is quite absolute. It's quite you either land a trick or you don't. There's not really like you can land a trick sketchily, but you still land it. You know, it's dialectics. It either is or it is not. And that might sound gatekeepery, but I think real skateboarders know that. There's no other way of putting that. I think the real skateboarders know that you either land something or you don't. Like if you're giving something a try, more power to you. If you didn't land it because you didn't try hard enough, try harder. If you didn't land it because your ability is not there, these are the questions I got to ask myself when I don't land something. Was it that I'm lacking the ability? If I try a tray flip down a set of stairs at a skate park, it's going to be nowhere near it and I'm wasting my time. Can I do an ollie down a medium small set of stairs? I should hope so. I should hope I can still do that. And maybe I need to find somewhere to do that and start there and build it up from there. Because if it's failure that I'm not learning from, then it's a waste of time. And if it's failure that I'm focusing on and just using it to create negative self-talk, then it's a waste of time. If I fail to land a trick, but I'm able to analyze it and go, I think I know where I went wrong there. I think I need more speed, different angle, carve in more, pop higher, flick differently. Not that I do flip tricks anymore, but just trying to give some examples of what I could adapt or change. If it's failure where I can analyze it and see where I've gone wrong, then it's a point for progression. It's something that will help me to progress. Because you need to analyze what you're doing in skateboarding. Again, as always, just a think piece, just something to put out there. So go out and succeed and fail and develop and progress and or don't do any of that stuff. Do whatever you want to do, because you are actually free to think for yourself and make your own decisions. But either way, if you like what you're hearing, then give this video a like or do whatever you want. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all later. Go skateboarding, please go skateboarding, because it's amazing. Right, see you all later. Bye.